Today is June 2nd, 2025. You know, yesterday, and then this morning, I figured out some things. I figured out what they're doing. Now think about this. Remember I got married April 2nd, around that time. That spawn of Satan that's in my old apartment. He was outside and he was talking to someone. We have to find somebody dumb enough to arrest her. Okay? That's how he put it. He said every other department knows about the FBI case. He said, and they wouldn't dare touch her because they know she's an informant. We got to find somebody dumb enough to arrest her. Oh, she won't be in jail more than an hour because the agent over her case will have to show up. And he's going to tell those cops off for interfering and touching an informant. Okay? But the only way we can get him to show up is get someone dumb enough to arrest her. He kept saying it. But we got to actually find somebody dumb enough to do something. Everybody else knows about the case, and they wouldn't dare touch her because they know they get in a lot of trouble. We got to find somebody dumb enough to do it. Okay? And I thought, why would you want me arrested or either the agent should have to show up? Why would you do that? That's a waste of time. You can't arrest me, I'm an informant. Okay? Okay? Couldn't figure out why. And it dawned on me this morning. Why do they want him just to show up to tell some cop off? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they? Well, this is after the 1st of April. Now, I want you to think about this. Michelle told an agent March 27th, 25, that she was part of trying to have me killed when they bashed in the back of my head or leave me incompetent. And it didn't work. And the reason I don't know who that doctor is, he's not one of mine. He works for them and they had lied. And he had got it out of Dave that his girlfriend from before me made him marry me so that he could get a job at my dad's factory. She'd have free insurance to use. And he could give her extra money. The other lady using my insurance, half my medical records are hers. Right, with the big stupid woman that ran up all those medical bills and I got stuck with the copays. It was actually Dave's girlfriend. Okay. Well, everybody knows Michelle told on him. That was March 27th, 25. March 30th, he's out in the parking lot pulling the scam of the dirty doctor. It's already out. Of telling people how he was in there with that agent. And when he asked her about that doctor, she didn't know who he was. Well, that's what Michelle said. She doesn't know who he is. He works for them and they had lied. He was one of my doctors. She don't know who he is. Right? So, well, I thought maybe it was the other lady using my insurance doctor because it didn't make any sense. Here's just a whole big scam. Okay? And that doctor had her taped. They already admitted years ago. They drugged me and told me that. Years ago. And then, and that agent turned her back over to us and didn't care because she said she didn't know who he was. Well, I still don't. I'll put it that way, I still don't. Okay, so he's starting his little hate crime. Now he works for Bill from the Freemasons because it's Bill's scam where those kids were laughing and the cartel admitted it also. Uh, May 25th, 25 in Holster. This the whole thing is Bill's big scam that he ran here. He had some guy go in and tape her in the shower. Take a tape of her washing herself, putting that in the other room. Can you imagine somebody taping you washing yourself in the shower? And he had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine having somebody drugged up and told to say such a thing? Then he ran a big scam off of it. A contest of who could have the best scam to steal her money. They're laughing about it. Well, the cartel shows up on the May 26, 25, how they're tired of Bill and his scam of the doctor not being one of mine, but works for them. And they had lied, and how dare they threatened to take care of Michelle and tell him too, that other cartel. For telling on him, who does he think he is? They're not the one running it. We are. And they're threatening war in Walmart 62. Okay? That guy knew when he went in that office that it was Bill from the Freemason, his dirty attorney friend, and his dirty doctor friend running a drug scam on somebody. On their own. Okay? So he was out there, and he already knew Michelle told him everything's wrong. But he's trying to pull a scam here. Then he's out there saying how they have to get somebody dumb enough to arrest me that would actually touch me. Everybody else knows about the informant case. They wouldn't dare touch her. That agent will show up and get her out in an hour. But the only way to get him to show up is to arrest her. Get someone dumb enough to actually touch her. Because the rest of them know better. The FBI would get him. So he thought the Louisville place was dumb. He went around telling all the neighbors they should be afraid I live here. Not me. I'll tell you what, you need to be afraid he's here. He's scamming the Louisville police. And I kept thinking, why do they want that agent to show up? Oh, I know why. I figured it out this morning. I worked up on Forest Grove Drive. The cleaning lady for the client that I was taking care of, she was a retired CI agent. For being retired, she still talks to him. She told me that Texas group is dangerous. All law enforcement's after them. They've killed both FBI and CIA agents. The scam's ruined. Why do they want Agent John to show up? I figured it out this morning. Because why would you want them to arrest me for him to show up to tell him off? It's the only way we can actually get him to show up. To get someone stupid enough to arrest her so he'll show up. Where on April 24, 25, up in Summit Mall, the Texas group is up there. Carl seen the Iraqi guy, the Muslim woman. Other cartel people are walking by laughing how Michelle told on him that the whole scam's ruined. That doctor wasn't one of mine, but works for them, and they lied and they're laughing. Well, some guys like, you tell that guy Will here that he was to run a scam. That it's all ruined because Michelle told on him that doctor was not one of hers, but worked for them, and that they had lied. You tell him we said to take care of her. Well, that was March 27th, 25, before he started his little hate crime down here. He already knew that. But like they said, they have to get someone dumb enough to actually would try to arrest her. Everybody else knows they wouldn't dare touch her. She's an informant. He even said outside, she's in immunity. They can't prosecute her. But the only way we can get that agent to show up is to get someone dumb enough to arrest her. I kept thinking, why do they want, if they know I'm in immunity, they know I can't be prosecuted. Why do you want the agent to show up? And then I remembered what that CIA agent said. All law enforcement is after the Texas group. They have killed both CIA and FBI agents. They want John to show up. I realized what they're doing. The scam's around, where he's ordered to take care of Michelle. I bet he's ordered to take care of John. I realized that this morning, because why would you want him to show up just to yell at cops? That don't make any sense. I figured it out this morning. Because I kept going through my mind. Why would you want him to show up? Well, it's not like they could prosecute her. She's in immunity. He even said that. But the only way we can get that agent to show up is to get someone dumb enough to arrest her. And he'll have to show up. I realize what they're doing. Because even with that CIA agent, they dismember people. That Texas group, I said I heard that. Do you know they'll walk up and just shoot you in the car? I said I heard that one too. Get the idea? He's pulling this hate crime, so he thinks the Louisville cops are dumb. Where he said he had to find somebody dumb enough, and everybody else knows about the case. And dumb enough to actually do something. So that agent has to show up. See, the scam was already run. I bet he's ordered to take care of John. Bill from the Freemasons. Yesterday, I had went over to a stat care. And I'd went to the doctor. And I was having a lot of trouble with my stomach. And I had her check everything out. She's like, we got a hard piece of wax stuck on the side of your ear. It just feels like a pimple. Still here, okay. But it's just uncomfortable. And she went to pick it off and then it hurt real bad. I got to go to an ear, nose surgeon. They just dissolve it in the office and suck it out. It takes like 5 minutes. It's not a big deal for them to do it. But she tried to pull off and it hurt. And she said, I want to read the notes before I leave. She, at the doctor's office on a Friday at Altman Family Physicians, she said it says some office hired some psychiatrist on their own to evaluate her. The psychiatrist said she hurts herself. And if she said somebody bashed her in the back of the head, she probably banged her head till she put a dent in it. She was devastated over her husband leaving her. Nobody's to say a word because it was done by some office that hired some psychiatrist on their own. I'm like, oh my God, they got a hold of my doctor. What a stupid mistake. It's illegal for a doctor to even touch you without your signed consent. It's medical malpractice, medical negligence. They can't hire someone on their own. It's illegal. You have a right to privacy. Your medical records or your medical care is your own. Nobody can do anything to you without your permission. If they touch you and you get harmed, it's assault and battery. Get the idea? They had no right. It's Bill's big scam. Then if you actually think about my 3 weird memories of footsteps, a white man's arm with a white dress shirt, gray pinstripe, and a syringe coming at me, the room going dark. and then screaming at the top of my lungs, feeling like my back's being ripped to my chest. And every cell in my body is screaming in agony. And I can't see, I can't breathe, and every part of me hurts. It was that doctor drug beating, raping me, drugging me up and telling me to say stuff. It was probably torturing me because I couldn't breathe. It was that doctor raping me. Where on May 22, 25, I was in Walmart West Test. Some guy came in and said they hired a neuropsychiatrist on their own. He said the way he evaluates people, he drugs them up and tells them to say something. And then he tries to get it out of them he's drugged them up and told them to say. They can't do that. That's framing people. No, they can't have some Jack the Ripper break in, stab me with a date rape drug, tell me to say something stupid, have me being raped, and then try to get me to admit to something that they told me to say under drugs. I didn't even know they did that. I thought the dirty well water was killing me. I knew nothing because they had me so drugged up. I knew nothing. And I kept going to the doctor for injuries. I talked to my friend Walter Moss from the Starr County Prosecutor's Office. He was working there then. He said, Karen, he said, this whole thing is a fraud scheme. He said, where they laugh at you in stores in front of people that they photoshopped a shower scene of washing yourself. They probably did. It's clicking and pasting. Everything's digital. Where you had all the signs of being drugged, being raped, and you were going to the doctor for injuries you couldn't explain, and you never seen or talked to anybody. Somebody was hurting you. And even though they didn't think of a rapist, somebody was hurting you, and we all know you're sleepwalking with date rape drugs under somebody else's control. They probably did drug you and tell you to say something stupid. I never seen or talked to anybody. We talk about scary movie stuff. It's a big fraud scheme. It took him 30 seconds. But that guy that's in my old apartment, where he tells people how that church sends out emails asking people to harm me and other religious groups or make sure I have nothing. His religious group was there from the beginning because they answered the email. That makes him a terrorist. He hurts people, him and his religious group. Good people would have called the police or the FBI. Bad people join in. And how he was in there with them when they talked to that agent. When he asked her about that doctor, she said she didn't know who he was. He's not my doctor. I still don't know who he is. And he had her taped. Now, years ago, they already said it. The filthy, dirty statement where they drugged me up and told me to say it, they had to tell me. They had to tell me. They had to tell me. I didn't know. I used to run to the bathroom, throw up, or have diarrhea. Find out how those drug dealers were playing with me. I didn't know. And that doctor had her tape saying, it's not my doctor. When she said she didn't know who that doctor was, That agent knew she was lying and turned her back over to us, and we can do whatever we want to her. Well, good people wouldn't hurt anybody. Only terrorists do. See, that's where then all of a sudden, I've lived in this apartment building for 6 years. Okay? He goes around knocking on doors. You need to be afraid she lives here. I wouldn't want to have to worry about people living here because she's here. I'm not the one you should be scared of. Yeah. He works for Bill from the Freemasons. Gee, and he's the one that said the only way they can get that agent to show up is get somebody dumb enough to arrest her. It's the only way we can get him to show up. Bill's already ordered to take care of Michelle. So they want Agent John to show up. Don't show up. Nasty phone call. Louisville Police. Leave our little informant alone. Stay away. Because like the CIA agents said, they kill agents. She said all law enforcement after that Texas group, they've killed both CIA and FBI agents. Well, they want you to show up, John. I realized that this morning because I kept thinking, why do they want somebody to be dumb enough to arrest me just for you to show up and yell at them? Why? What is he doing? See, that's where I look at all this. What are you doing? I'm remarried. Dave got remarried a couple years ago. I'm remarried. He was in the rears on my alimony. He has this June 1st payment, and then he owes the fees to the state and the county. And he's done. He'll be done in July, and everything's closed. He's done. Why would you care? See, he's pissed I'm married. Okay? Why would you start something now? Why? Why? Well, they're pissed what? The scams ruined? Huh? Scams ruined? Gonna think you're gonna take care of Michelle and Agent John? You're that stupid, Bill from the Freemasons? Because why would you try something now? Officer Mark said it's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was a drug cartel. They consider that dirty attorney and that dirty doctor and Bill drug cartel. Drug cartel. It was a drug cartel in her home before. They consider them drug cartel. Because they were drug being, rape me, and human trafficking me. Now, and he's in it with the Texas group. See, that guy knew he was scamming that FBI agent. See, then, this thing with Melissa's kids? She better thank God they're mean games of pretend. She better thank God that's all they are is documented mean games of pretend. My new husband, Carl, his granddaughter knew her husband was hurting their child. She didn't report it. You can't hide abuse. You can't hide it for very long. Well, he got caught. He's in jail for the rest of his life. She went to jail as an accessory. She never hurt that kid. But she didn't report him. She went to jail as an accessory, and she's never allowed around a child again. She had a baby last year, and the Child Protective Services came out of the hospital. She's never allowed around her child again. So Melissa better thank God they were just mean jokes. During the FBI case, and the police that worked my case in the FBI documented them as mean games of pretend. That they were making up for the new girlfriend to get the house and trying to scare me out of my house. And that's how they wrote it up. She better thank God they were only mean jokes. Because, see, that's where I told you how I hadn't been around anybody. Hadn't seen them, hadn't been alone in over a year. Hadn't seen them but probably 6 minutes out of the whole year and not alone. We only seen John's kids mostly on holidays. They had their big careers. They're both electrical engineers. They had their own social group. When they weren't in church, they would go to bars and go drinking, have cookouts, and have their friends over. And they had their big careers. And then they had their own family. We've seen them on holidays. They were successful. They didn't need us. And if they needed something, we were there. But 99% of the time, we only seen those kids on the holidays. Okay? See, that's why I didn't know till Florida stated a year later. The cops and the feds wouldn't tell me. Make up something, call you a bad word. Until Florida stated it laughing. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Because you thought it was the funniest thing on earth. I was so mad. I wouldn't have known if she wouldn't have said it. Even though the police and the FBI, we all know Karen don't know what the games of pretend are. No, I didn't, because I wasn't around them. She ought to be, I'll be like the cops and feds. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, sitting around making up stuff like that, laughing. Karen's out risking her life to save everyone, and they're making up mean jokes, sitting around laughing. See, she better thank God. Because, see, the whole thing where that idiot in my old apartment said the way that they were talking, they were turning everything back around on her. Well, yeah, because it's going to be like Carl's granddaughter. Because they were only mean jokes. Nobody went to the hospital. There was no proof of any injury because they were mean jokes. No police were called because they were mean jokes. No prosecution, no nothing because they were mean jokes. See what I mean? Because if something would have really happened to her kids and they were really injured, she didn't take them to the hospital and get them medical treatment. Have them verify the injuries. Police called and they do an investigation of her children being harmed. Because there's nothing, because they were just jokes. She better thank God they're jokes. Because otherwise, she let someone hurt her kids and didn't report it and was an accessory and she's going to go to jail. See, there's no proof of injury. See, where I had a dog bite, the dog bite attorney said there's a lot of things you have to prove just to even open a case. You have to prove injury. Did you go to the hospital? Yes. They documented all the injuries. I said yes, and I took pictures of them. Okay, where the dog bit me up. She said, you called the police? Yes. And I even emailed them. I need a copy of the email and who you talked to at the sheriff's department and, okay, and where the time and date when you reported it. Did you make a dog warden's report? I said the emergency room did. I need you to sign a release so I can pull that and where they did documented your injuries. She said you have to prove you were injured. Then you got to prove either the person did it or the dog did it, where kind of injury you have. Because they can always say somebody else did it or some other dog did it. Okay? And I said, well, I have a witness. Carl witnessed everything. And I said, I called my boss because I was just dropping off some eyeglasses after work. And she opened that door and that let that dog out on me. I got bit up in the yard. I said, I called so my phone would have pinged right by our house when I called. I said, oh, and right before I went to leave, a neighbor walked out and asked why we were sent out a car. They didn't see the tech, but they see me within minutes of leaving because I was already back in the car getting ready to leave. I just got down off the phone with my boss telling him what had happened. And I said, so I seen within minutes of being in the hospital. I said, and if you want proof, that dog grabbed a hold of my arm, bit through my shirt, my jacket. I got the holes, and then I got the dog slobber with the DNA all over my jacket. She's like, okay, you proved it was her dog. She said, you just can't say something happened to you. You have to prove injury. You have to have an emergency report. You have to have a police report. And then you have to have like pictures, everything of the injury. Then you have to have witnesses. And then not only witnesses, but then even proof they did it. Like the dog bite through the jacket and its DNA on it. Because otherwise they could say somebody else did it. You have to prove without a doubt they're responsible. Or you have nothing, you can't even open a case. See, all they have is them saying it. The mean jokes. That's all they have. Because they were, where Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid, she didn't check where you were. That means she had to make it up in October 2018. Huh? Now, think I hadn't seen him since 4th. 2 minutes at the table where they took 2 bites out of their food, ran in the basement, took a picture of everybody sitting on the couch. They plopped down, took a picture of the family, finished eating up their food. They took 2 bites, ran in the basement. Jenna and I grabbed our water, went outside, sat on the front porch. John, Noah, Gabe playing ball, Gabriel on the riding lawnmower until we got too hot. You could hear him playing pillow fights in the basement. It was a family room. Had a full basement down, a full bathroom downstairs. It was a family room. It had a sectional couch, TV, and a laundry room. Yeah, like I said, there was a full bathroom down there, laundry room, and a family room with a couch and a TV and the puppies. They were there less than an hour. We got too warm. We went inside. It's split level. You either go upstairs or down. Walked upstairs into the open concept kitchen living room. Grabbed some dessert. Didn't even get sat down. Dave came in. John left us like he didn't say goodbye. He was in a hurry because they just started their divorce. Only seen him at the table with everybody else. And then they were in the basement. Didn't see him again. Then at Walmart, Maslin, when we first moved in our house, they come around and ask Grandma, Papa, what you doing here? Buying curtains for the basement. What are you doing? I don't know. And they passed us, okay? Then where we dropped off John's stuff before we moved out of the garage, we go over there. She comes outside. Hi, what are you doing here? Dropping off John's stuff. Oh, just put it against the house. Was nice as she could be. Okay. And then I hadn't seen him since the Christmas with the bikes. It's 2017. And everybody was there. And then before that was November of 2017. We all met at Dairy Queen. And they gave us their Christmas list while we had ice cream and stuff. And everybody was there. John, the kids, Dave, me. They're given our Christmas list at Dairy Queen on Fulton Road. And then it was my 50th birthday, June of 17. And Melissa sat next to me. Was nice to me. The kids had relay races. See what I mean? Holidays. That's where it's like, what the hell? You know, you have to prove injury. You have to prove the person did it. And I didn't even know it. Like the cops and feds, Karen don't even know what they're going to say. She don't know anything. We all know that. Well, I hadn't been around anybody. See, it's not like it's Danny and Jen or Josh and the girls, where they were over our house all the time. They lived within a mile apart. Where John was successful, Melissa had their own careers, their own friend, own social group. I was always picking up the kids for everybody else. We were having dinners together, cookouts, going out to eat, because they needed our help and we were real close. We were actually really close part of the family. But John and Melissa, we only seen them on the holidays and their kids. See what I mean? Because they were busy, had their own life. All right. See, she better thank God they're only mean jokes. Because she'd be in jail. They said in 18, Melissa could go to jail for even involving herself in this. Well, her kids are little. We'd hate for her to go to jail. Why don't we just write it up? Her and the kids were showing off for Dave's new girlfriend. That's how it's wrote up. Documented mean jokes showing off for the new girlfriend. And they better thank God they're only mean jokes. Because if she actually let something happen to her kids and didn't get them out, she would have went to jail as an accessory. She better thank God. And you know what? Melissa is not Mommy of the Year. You know, when Kenzie was a baby, John had called us. And she got taken up to Akron Children's Burn Unit. And that a pan of frying bacon got turned over on her. She was a baby that was crawling. She's got permanent scars. We went and picked up Carrington and Noah, because she's in the burn unit. Frying bacon stuck to a baby. Carrington looked at us when we put him in the car and said, "Daddy's silly." I said, "Why is Daddy silly?" Mommy turned a whole pan of frying bacon over on Kenzie. And Daddy told the hospital it was his fault so Mommy wouldn't get in trouble. He covered it up so Mommy wouldn't get in trouble. He's silly. See, my thing is, what the hell was the baby doing crawling around a frying bacon on the floor? Why didn't you block off the kitchen? Why didn't you put her in a high chair? She has permanent scars. Permanent scars. Because even when she was little, she would go like this. See where Mommy burned me with the bacon? She's not Mommy Dearest of the Year. She let my son... See, then I kept thinking, why didn't she just tell him it was an accident? But they used to drink when they were out of church. Makes you wonder if she hadn't had something to drink. That's why he let her cover it up. See, I was trying to figure out why that, or she was freaking out and so scared. So he just took responsibility. For Daddy's silly. Covered up what Mommy did. She's not mommy of the year. You know, when I watched the twins and Crystal and Flora, I had baby gates everywhere. Baby gates into the kitchen, baby gates to the steps. We had the wall plug-ins, the white caps for the outlets. My house was baby-proofed. They could only go so far in different areas. And why the hell would you let a kid crawl around you while you're frying bacon? Why wouldn't you put her in a high chair? And how the hell did that thing get turned over? See, she's not mommy of the year. And her using her children as a weapon, she could lose them forever. And especially just making up lies. She just can't run around lying on people. See, my niece Heather, she told me years ago, she said, you know, the people in that church will learn one day that it's wrong to lie on people. See, she was at a Christmas party and some guy was yelling at his wife while being 20 years old and no filter on her face. She's young, she's very pretty. And she told that, but she has no filter on her face because she's 20. She said, don't take that, that's abuse. Well, this older woman said, you just want my husband. She looked at her and went, ew, he's like 40. I about died laughing. Because she's young and beautiful, and the thought of 40-year-olds sounded disgusting. Because she's young and beautiful. And they called her a whore. Had everybody in that church call her a whore till she quit. Then they told everybody she was cheating on her husband. Told it for years. She said, you know, one day they'll learn it's wrong to lie on people. You can't just say something happened with no proof. But I have proof of a real FBI case. Starr County Sheriff's at Faith Family Church. Last year we're talking, we all know they opened an informant case with her, and we helped watch her. And we all know they made fun of that Agent John for falling for this. That's the whole thing is a mess. See, like those ladies the other day. We heard there's some dirty police officers outside saying stop. They know better than to ever say anything like that. These people sold login to the case. Well, we thought it was the agent. They said, well, selling the login for $25 a pop. We thought that was agent. No, that's that guy, Will. Bill from the Freemasons sold government technology. Yeah. Get the idea. Where they were saying that because she told on those people in the hospital, it was a Portage County Sheriff's. No, it wasn't. It was a drug cartel. The Portage County Sheriffs don't hang out with the drug cartel, sorry. And they don't go in there and tell people they're FBI agents. And they don't try scamming them. And by the way, they made up that scam of the chip in January 19 to cover up the attempted murder in front of the police and feds. They already documented it. Amy even heard them laugh about it outside. Even told Carl she heard him laughing about it outside. The scam. And then I went to a doctor's office, and the RN nurse had she was on an online chat of how human traffickers run scams on people and what to look for the victims that have been raped and that they're still human trafficking and they're too scared to say anything. And one of the scams they're using is they chip the girls, and if they tell law enforcement they can't hide them because they have chipped them, they can find them anywhere, and it was to keep them quiet. It was a scam they were using on a lot of people. It wasn't just me. It's just a scam where Sheriff Grady in Florida said they'll have 100 people watching 14 victims at a time running scams on them so law enforcement don't help them. And when law enforcement finds out they've been scammed, they have to physically rescue them because now they're afraid of law enforcement. where those officers said, how dare she tell on those Portage County sheriffs. They weren't the sheriffs. The one lady was telling people she was Michelle's mother. And the other ones came in and said they were FBI or flashing badges. They didn't say they were Portage County sheriffs. And they were drug cartel. And they were trying to fool everyone. Get the idea? I reported it so you could get the drug cartel impersonating the FBI. Because they impersonated the FBI in front of the sheriffs at Faith Family Church. A lot of those people there said they worked for Judge Peters from Florida. And they were hurting me, and they were the ones hurting me before. Selling the log in there. Michelle was there. They had people, the guy that tortured me, they sold the log in there. They had videos of that guy raping and torturing me. And he was supposed to be a fake FBI agent. And I told you about December 16 of 18, that big, tall, white, bald guy, like a lumberjack, long red beard, black square glasses, sitting with that crazy blonde lady and those 4 guys. And Bob Evans. And he was trying to claim he was an FBI handler. And so were those guys. And they told people they were a handler. Dixie seen them around me in Maslin. They were the ones that break. They bashed my head in. And the one guy left his comb on Dave's dresser after the attack, and he was the one holding me down. That's how not funny this is. These people have impersonated sheriffs, where that lady said they're trying to frame everybody. Get the idea? They tried to frame the FBI, the sheriffs, Judge Timothy Ludick, Judge Stephen. They tried to frame my son Danny. And I'll tell you what, I know Dixie's involved because some idiot has been trying to get her railroaded into jail because she's dumb. And stop being mean to the dumb people that don't know the law and trying to get them arrested as an accessory. Don't play with dumb people. I don't believe my son Josh is involved. Today I have to take my client to work. And then the original bus driver that picks him up where we all meet didn't show up. The other guy didn't have a key to the van. So we had to go take him to the other job site for him to pick it up. Well, the guy shows up and he's like this, waving at me. And he kept going like this. And I thought, my son Josh, he does stuff like that and you remind me of him. Oh my God. My sweet Joshy. My sweet son Joshy. And I got to thinking, my son Joshy would not have his mother killed for Dave's drug addict girlfriend. My son Josh wouldn't do that. He wouldn't have men drug me for fake confessions and beat and rape his own mother for have that dirty doctor do that to her. He wouldn't have his mother drug, beat, and raped by a dirty doctor for his dad's girlfriend and his dad. He wouldn't involve himself in that. That's sick. You wouldn't have your own mother drugged, beat, raped, drugged and framed for Dave's drug addict girlfriend and for your dad to get the house. That's sick. My sweet Joshy wouldn't do that. He wouldn't have men harm his mother like that. That's sick. That's sick. And he wouldn't try to make sure I couldn't have a job, that I couldn't support myself for his dad and his, to get everything. And that a call. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't try to steal my money. He wouldn't try to be part of a drug cartel trying to steal from somebody and railroad somebody into prison while they steal their stuff. Now, his wife, Dixie's a piece of shit. And she's a dingbat they're playing with, thinking she can make fast money. But my sweet Joshy would not make it so that his mother couldn't have a job. or have money to live on. My sweet Joshy wouldn't do that. He is just like Danny, where Danny and them, they want nothing to do with this. They didn't know anything about it. Joshy has the same personality. He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't make sure that his own mother couldn't support herself. He wouldn't try to steal my money if he needed it. He knew I would give it to him. No questions asked. If I had it, well, I would say for what for. But I've given money in the past. See what I mean? So why he knew he wouldn't have to steal from me. And he wouldn't make it so that I would be homeless. My son, Joshy, wouldn't do that. And he sure as hell wouldn't have, for Dave's drug addict girlfriend, have some dirty doctor go in and drug beat and rape his mother and have drug his mother and frame her for Dave's drug addict girlfriend. My son wouldn't do that. And then if you think about it, where John totally defended me of that Melissa would only make it up because of the divorce, and because he told her I was going through a divorce and moving out, and that, trust me, Mom, nobody could say anything bad about you, and she'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it, no one could say anything bad about you. Totally defends me. He even asked me to babysit Kenzie, Carrington, and Noah in 19 because they were just Melissa's main games of pretend. He wasn't part of having his mother drugged, beat, and raped for the entertainment of Dave's drug addict girlfriend. And having some dirty doctor drug, beat, and rape his mother. He would not be part of having his mother drug, beat, and raped. And then destroyed so she couldn't go out and work and have a job and steal my money. He makes $150,000. He's got a career. See what I mean? My sons wouldn't do this. Now, Melissa, his ex-wife, part of the cartel, where I heard Dixie say, Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her unaware and to do those things. Melissa was part of hiring them with her call. Okay? And the way they described it made total sense to me because she's a dingbat. That the chief of police up there gives special permission to groups of people to break in people's home. It's illegal to break in somebody's home, dumbass. To watch them unaware. Stalking, cyber stalking is a federal crime. Felony invasion of privacy. And to do things, drug them for fake confessions, beat and rape them. Hell no, he doesn't give permission for that, and there's no such thing. But the way they describe it made total sense, because she's a dingbat. And some lady investigator stopped playing with her. She's stupid. Said, even though I gave her permission on tape, that she could tape me before and tape me then, of knowing of Melissa's mean game as a pretend. Because that's what they are. Melissa's mean games of pretend. And, knowing of Dave breaking up the gunshot night, even though I gave her permission to tape me, I can extort all kinds of money out of the government. You can never extort money out of the government. Never extort money out of the government. Ever. Ever. And I can extort money out of that old man. And when he dies, she won't get nothing. I'll get it all, psycho. You cannot ever extort money out of people. Stop playing with this stupid bitch. The laws of surveillance, it is, because the HIPAA and Privacy Acts, it's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. It's a felony invasion of privacy. Okay? And it's HIPAA. You can never set up bot and camera stalking somebody in their home as cyber stalking or listening devices. The only thing legal, now think of this, is hitting record on your phone when you're talking to somebody. Ohio is a one-party state. If you've not done anything and you're just sitting there talking to someone, you can hit record. It is very legal. Okay? You got to think, you hit record. How many people tape birthday parties? How many people tape family get-togethers, cookouts? How many people tape meetings? How many people tape social advances? It's also very legal just to hit record on your phone long as you've not done anything to the other person. Ohio is a one-party thing. You have to be there. And it says one-party conversation where you're talking to them, or one party knowing of the tape during that conversation. You can only hit like record on your phone. See, even where that idiot in my old apartment, they asked the police, they said the only thing legal was hitting record on your phone while you're talking. You can't leave it there. It can't be a listening device or a recording device. It can only be like recording while you're there talking to them. You have not done anything. That is the only thing legal. Because think about it. Meetings, social events, birthday parties, family get-togethers, reunions. You can also just sit and talk to someone and hit record. We are a one-party knowledge of just a conversation. As long as you've not done anything. But doctors can never tape you unaware because of HIPAA and Privacy Acts. So where that lady's saying she can extort money by when she's told me on tape, can I have permission to tape you? Yes. Of knowing I'm Melissa's Mean Games of Pretend and Dave Reagan of the Gunshot Eye. Yes. She's gave me permission. You have nothing to say. Stop playing with the dumb people. And I don't believe you, my sweet Joshy was part of having his mother drug beaten right by a dirty doctor trying to frame me that Dave hired. Pete on his own, and it was Pete and his men in a home. And where that doctor said it was some office getting a hold of him, that they hired a psychiatrist on it. That was a dumb mistake. They have the name of the doctor. And you confessed you hired that doctor on your own, and it wasn't my doctor. Dumb move. Where the cartels already confessed, Michelle confessed, the idiot office confessed. You are so dumb. My son Joshy is a sweetheart like Danny. And I don't believe for Dave's drug addict girlfriend at the time, he was in it having some dirty doctor drug, beat, and rape his mother and drug her up and tell her say something stupid. And he wasn't part of selling kiddie porn of his little kids going potty. My sweet Joshy wouldn't do that. And he wouldn't bring Danny. And neither would John. Melissa is part of an occult that was trying to kill me and cover it up. And Dixie, you need to leave her alone. She doesn't have high enough IQ to figure out you're scamming her to get arrested. Leave her alone. But I don't believe Josh or John was involved. Danny knew nothing. He had to go to Dave April 16, 23 when I was telling him about these people laughing at me in stores, about buying cameras, shower scenes. And then they did know I had bruises, throwing up, and almost passing out, and it kept happening. And large ones everywhere. And they didn't know my door was kicked into the wall, and Dave was saying it was a realtor passing out keys. Then you're thinking, well, she did have bruises. She was throwing up. She was almost passing out. And there was marks everywhere on her. And she was really sick. So he asked Dave, what on earth is going on? Finally called Dad and asked him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men at her home. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape saying da-da-da-da-da. The filthy, dirty statement. Where they drugged me and told me to say it. They put a name on it. That he had that guy do it. And I don't even know who he is. I don't know who the dirty doctor is. I've never met them in person. Like I said, if you think of the three memories, the weird ones, footsteps, a white man's arm, white shirt, gray pinstripe, syringe coming at me, room going dark, screaming like my back is being ripped to my chest, and every cell in my body screaming in agony, and I can't see, and I can't breathe, and more pain than I ever felt, everywhere. My sons would not do that to me. Get it? Having that director go in and drug me up and tell me to say stuff, he beat and raped me, and it sounds like he tortured me under drugs. My sons would not do that to me. I don't care what you say. Dixie's a dingbat. She'll fall for any scam. Melissa's pure evil, hiring those people and being part of that. Think about the three weird memories and then them saying a doctor did it. Makes more sense. Breaking in my house, stabbing me with a syringe, and then beating me and raping me so bad that I'm screaming in agony and I can't see and I can't breathe. They were torturing me. Where they said May 22nd, 25 in Walmart West Husk. They said they hired a neuropsychiatrist. To evaluate her on their own. They can't do that. No. I didn't sign consent. I have rights. You don't have a right to touch me. It's medical malpractice and negligence. I'm not your patient. He said the way he evaluates people, he drugs them up and tells them to say stuff. And then he tries to get it out of them. He drugs people and frames them. Then tries to get them to confess to what he has drugged and told them to say. And he beats and rapes them in their own homes. Him and that attorney and dirty doctor friend are running drug scams on people. On their own. It's highly illegal. Highly. They can't do this. Where they got a hold of my doctor. They did the biggest mistake there. Admitted that some office had hired some psychiatrists on their own to evaluate me and then all that crazy crap. They even admitted it wasn't my doctor. They did it. Where I told that agent, I don't know who he is. I still don't. He's some kind of, him and that attorney running drug scams, and he's drug beating, raping people in their home and torturing them and framing them. And him and that attorney is running drug scams like that dirty cop outside. They said it was an attorney did it, so it made it legal. No, it makes it worse illegal. I know because they have license. The investigator said that her ex-husband hired those two men to do it to her. He can't do that. What we were thinking. The cartel said it's some bill from the Freemason scam. Duh. Took Walter from the prosecutor's office. 30 seconds is a fraud scheme. Yeah. Big one. But if you get a hold of all my family physicians, the way that doctor was mumbling, you should have the doctor's office and the attorney's office that hired him on their own. They made a big mistake. They confessed yourself. It's not my doctor. some guy drugging up women in their home, stabbing them with date rape drugs, lacing drinks from the other room. They don't even know he's there. Drugging them up, telling him to say stuff and beating, raping them. And him and his attorney friend setting up button cameras, photoshopping things, running broad schemes on their own. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.